Coming in 2025, a new thrilling zombie film. A global virus turns people into fast-moving, bloodthirsty monsters who still retain some human awareness. Against these horrors, humanity faces extinction. Elsa is a woman of misfortune. Soon after the virus outbreak, her husband became infected with the zombie virus and even bit their only child. Elsa had to kill the most important person in her life. 4 years went by. As survivors dwindled, the former power elite established an organization, GMT. They recruited survivors under the banner of rebuilding civilization, promising armed protection and safety. However, these benefits come at a steep price, as every survivor who joins must unconditionally obey all commands. It's like selling your soul and freedom. If survivors wake up to the truth and try to leave, GMT hunters will track them down. They call it merciful judgment, but it's actually cold, ruthless cleanup. Time heals all wounds, they say, but Elsa had lived with guilt for years. She blamed herself for her daughter's death, and without Jason's support, she would have joined her daughter long ago. That day by the river alone, the familiar scenery brought back memories of her daughter. When she opened her eyes, the vision had gone. Elsa could hold on no more. She quietly raised her weapon and was about to pull the trigger when a sharp horse neigh rang out. Elsa turned to see a proud chestnut horse by the river. She spotted the GMT marking on the horse's back and noticed an injured, unconscious man lying nearby. A sudden wave of worry filled her. Elsa knew GMT was trouble and didn't want to get involved, but the dragonfly charm hanging from the man's backpack caught her eye. Her daughter had loved dragonflies too. As Elsa hesitated about whether to save the injured man, the brown horse suddenly approached with pleading eyes. Elsa eventually decided to save the injured man. Meanwhile, Elsa's father-in-law, hunting in the forest, spotted 3 GMT hunters. This area was far from GMT's camp, so why would they come here? On the other side, Elsa had already dragged the wounded man back to the stable and, for safety reasons, locked the heavy door. She searched his backpack and found strange vials along with an antiviral serum manufactured by GMT. Elsa had heard that this serum was extremely valuable and could cure people bitten by zombies before mutation. It's so difficult to produce that even high-ranking officials at GMT can rarely access it. When her father-in-law came back from hunting, he told Isa to be careful. GMT hunters must be here for a reason, probably looking to recruit more people. Distracted, Elsa hesitated before finally revealing the wounded man was here. He didn't look like a VIP, but carried antiviral serum with him, so they guessed the hunter's purpose right away. He had clearly stolen the antiviral serum from GMT. His father-in-law cursed angrily as she brought them huge trouble. Elsa realized her mistake and decided she would throw the stranger out at dawn tomorrow. The brown horse nearby grasped their conversation, shaking its head repeatedly as if pleading with them to save its master. However, Jason resolutely left the stable and told Elsa to lock everything up. Zombies are most active during the nighttime hours. Jason cooked dinner as usual after the spat. Game is scarce these days. He hunted all day and only bagged 2 rabbits. However, Elsa failed to appreciate the precious food and instead acted spoiled.
What? Exactly. What are we surviving for? Your son is gone.
She ignored the meal completely and went straight to her bedroom. Elsa instinctively clutched her daughter's beloved doll tightly, her mind drifting back to all. Unable to sleep at midnight, she decided to go to the stable alone. She went to check on him, but he was already awake. He quickly signaled Isa to stay quiet as an infected roamed outside the stable. They planned to wait for the infected to leave, but the startled brown horse suddenly neighed loudly. The zombie charged at the door, but the man quickly grabbed the handle. Elsa tried to help, but the zombie choked her. The man seized the gun and fired in crisis. Once the zombie was gone, the man urgently asked about his backpack. Elsa led him to the living room, where he sighed with relief seeing the antiviral serum was still there. His name was Rory, and he was not a member of GMT. Rory's son was bitten by zombies, so he pretended to join GMT, infiltrated their base, and stole the precious serum. It was unethical behavior, but the only way to save his son's life. Those selfish GMT members would never use the serum to save ordinary survivors. Elsa felt the same way too. If only her daughter had received the serum then, everything would be completely different now. After treatment, Rory insisted on leaving. His son was bitten 2 days ago and needed the serum before turning, but Elsa stopped him rationally. The night belongs to the undead. If he goes out now, he's dead. Rory agreed to wait for daylight before setting off. They had no idea GMT hunters were already targeting the house. Early the next morning, the vigilant old man found Rory there. Elsa hurried to explain everything. Jason was fair but advised Rory to get on the road soon. Rory had just nodded in agreement when his weakened body suddenly collapsed. Jason had examined his wounds yesterday and suspected a blood clot was compressing his airway. They had to cut an opening in his chest. The injection worked, and Rory's condition improved. But letting him go now seems too rushed. Elsa's heart raced with anxiety, fearing the delay would jeopardize the boy's care. It seemed she was channeling all her regret about failing to save her daughter onto that little boy. Jason read his daughter-in-law's mind. He said gravely, "If you want to save the boy, then go ahead boldly. This may be your life's purpose." Alarm sirens blared suddenly. The GMT hunters were here. Jason waved urgently, woke Rory and motioned Elsa to flee with him on horseback. He'd stay to hold off the hunters. After quick goodbyes, Jason geared up completely. He walked out boldly, showing this place was his own territory. However, the lead hunter firmly countered that GMT owned all property after the apocalypse struck. They are the ones who keep the world in order. Jason was deliberately stalling for time and didn't mind chatting with them longer. What Jason didn't know was that the hunters had cleverly sent one of their men to sneak around. Elsa and her friends sensed someone near as they prepared to go. Rory hid behind the door and pulled the trigger just before the enemy fired. This gunshot marked the start of their fierce battle ahead. Jason struck first but failed to kill the hunter leader, which put him at a serious disadvantage in the firefight. Outnumbered, he was shot multiple times by the hunters. His brave actions bought enough time for Elsa and Rory to escape. Witnessing the leader brutally kill an old man, the female hunter finally saw GMT for what it was. They were clearly criminals exploiting other survivors. She decided to quit this hunt. The hunter leader shook with fury, but considering their history as teammates, he chose not to eliminate her according to protocol. He cursed as he went after Rory. Meanwhile, Rory reached a forest where the terrain was unsuitable for riding. He told Elsa to part ways here. But seeing Rory was hurt, Elsa decided to escort him back home. She mentioned her dead daughter, insisting she wasn't helping Rory, just easing her guilt. Rory ultimately accepted Isa's request and pulled out a potion that he claimed could disrupt zombie senses. But at that very moment, sharp gunfire suddenly rang out as the hunter leader caught up. Rory led Elsa in a hasty escape while their hunter followed calmly. He knew someone had to stay behind to hold them off, so he gave Elsa the serum and asked her to take it home. Elsa committed the address to memory, then vanished into the dark woods. Rory pulled out a syringe of adrenaline he had prepared as his ultimate weapon. Adrenaline surged, transforming Rory from weak to unstoppable. He traded blows with the leader. As night fell and the adrenaline faded, Rory made his move. He used sound to deceive the leader into his ambush and struck with full force. With his advantage, Rory finally knocked the leader down. But as he prepared to finish him off, zombie howls rang out. Rory put away his gun, leaving the cruel hunter to suffer zombie attacks. Rory knew perfectly well that his wounds combined with the drug side effects would make it impossible to survive the zombie night. He closed his eyes as the zombies descended. Meanwhile, Elsa was still running through the forest when she suddenly stumbled and crashed down. When she stood up, she discovered a group of zombies ahead. Elsa quickly turned and hid behind a tree stump, temporarily escaping them, but another zombie tackled her. She fought with all her might and managed to kill the zombie. However, what no one expected was that Aisha had been bitten on her arm. The serum in her bag was her only hope. Should she use it for herself or save Rory's son? In her confusion, she saw her daughter and knew what to do. Zombies appeared around Isa, perhaps sensing her imminent transformation, or maybe the scent-masking drugs were working. But the zombies made no move to attack. Elsa dared not move carelessly, holding her breath as she walked slowly away. At dawn, Elsa finally made her way out of the forest. She spotted a house standing tall on the prairie ahead, which was Rory's home. An old woman answered the door, gun in hand. Seeing Rory's backpack, she had to ask,
Where are my boys?
Elsa turned away silently without a word. The old woman lifted the pack and saw the serum within. Her son was gone, but he left something priceless. Alone by the river, Elsa seemed to see her daughter smiling at her. She felt grateful for making the right choice, and in her final moments she had successfully saved another precious life that was thriving beautifully. That is the whole story of this film. This film is about a mother's journey to redemption and salvation. Her courage is truly extraordinary. Survival in a zombie apocalypse is hard enough. Yet she still cared for those complex emotions. Perhaps this is why human civilization endures. Let me ask you this. If you faced her choice, would you save yourself or would you rescue a complete stranger? Share your thoughts below and see you next time.